Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
India's economy is growing very fast. This is very big news for India and for the world. It is a historic achievement for the country. India is now expected to become the fourth largest economy in the whole world. This means that in terms of the total money and value of things it makes, India will be number 4. Only 3 other countries will have bigger economies. To reach number 4, India is expected to pass Japan. Japan has had one of the biggest economies in the world for many years, but India's economy has been growing quickly, while Japan's growth has been slower. India used to be much lower in the rank of economies. The news that India is now expected to be 4th comes from important reports. The International Monetary Fund, often called the IMF, is a big group that studies economies worldwide. The IMF made a report that shows India's economy is growing to this size. An important person from the Indian government, Mr. BVR Subramaniam, also spoke about this great news. He said clearly that as of now, India is the 4th largest economy and that India is larger than Japan. He said this information is based on data from the IMF. When we look at the exact size of economies, the numbers can sometimes look a little different. This is because countries count their economic year in different ways. Some countries, like India, use a fiscal year that goes from April of one year to March of the next year. Other countries, like Japan, use a calendar year that goes from January to December. This means the numbers can look different depending on how you count. However, even with these small differences in counting methods, the main point is clear based on forecasts. The reports from the IMF and official statements show that India is expected to be the 4th largest economy soon, possibly by the end of the year 2025. This event is a very important moment for India and for global economics. It is a watershed moment. It shows how much India has developed and its growing importance in the world. It marks a significant change in the global ranking of economies. It shows the strength of India's economy. 2. India's big jump. India's economy is growing very fast. It is one of the fastest growing big economies in the world right now. Organizations like the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank have looked at the numbers. They say India will keep growing at a speed of more than 6% every year for the next couple of years. This is a strong speed for a big country. Now look at Japan. Its economy is growing, but much slower than India's. Recent numbers show Japan's economy might grow only by a very small amount, like 0.3% or 1.1% in a year. This is a big difference compared to India's speed. Japan is a developed country. These countries often grow slower than developing countries. Also, Japan has many older people and a smaller working population, which affects its growth speed. One important reason for the change in rankings is the value of Japan's money. The Japanese yen has become quite a bit weaker compared to the US dollar over the past 10 years. It lost around 40% of its value. When we measure the size of a country's economy in US dollars, a weaker local money makes the economy look smaller. So, even though Japan's economy is still producing goods and services, its size in dollars went down because of the weaker yen. This helped India's economy, measured in dollars, move higher in the world list. It is important to know that this jump is based on future plans and numbers, like a forecast. The most recent official data from the last year showed India was still the fifth largest economy, just behind Japan. But looking ahead, with India's faster growth expected and the current value of the yen, most experts believe India will be clearly the fourth largest economy by the end of 2025. We must wait for the final numbers to be sure. So, India's big jump is happening because India's economy is growing quickly, while Japan's economy is growing slowly. The weaker Japanese money also played a role by making Japan's economy look smaller in US dollars. This moment shows the different paths these two important countries are following now. 3. Why India is growing. India's economy is getting bigger quickly. There are several important reasons for this. One big reason is the changes that happened in India. The government worked to make it easier for businesses to start and grow. This helped bring in money from businesses in other countries. Over the last 10 years, India's economy has become much larger, more than double its size before. The government group NITI Aayog said that changes have helped India's growth. One main engine for this growth is the services sector. This includes businesses that provide help or work for others, like computer work, banks, and talking on the phone. India is very good at technology services. There are many companies that write software or help other businesses with their work. People in India use digital payments easily, which is also part of this service growth. Many new small companies called startups are also beginning and growing fast. The World Bank says this part of the economy is strong and moving well. Making things in factories is also helping. India wants to make more products itself with a plan called Make in India. To do this, the government has built better roads, ports where ships come and go, and power lines. It also made tax rules simpler for businesses. These steps help factories produce more goods. This shows how India is building more cities and places for work. India has a lot of young people. The average age is around 29 years old, much younger than in some other countries. This means India has a big group of people who can work. These young people also buy many things, like phones, clothes, and food. This buying helps the economy grow from inside the country. NITI Aayog said India's growth comes from strong buying inside the country, and its bigger part in making things for the world. Because of problems with trade in other places, some companies are looking to make their goods in India instead of places like China. The government is also helping the economy grow. It is spending money to build big things like new highways and train lines in cities and villages. The Central Bank of India, called the RBI, works to keep prices stable, not too high or too low. When prices are stable, people and businesses feel more sure about spending and investing. More money is being put into building factories and buildings, which is called capital expenditure. Farming is still important in India, and good weather helps farmers sell more, which also helps the economy because people in villages have more money to buy things. Money coming from companies in other countries to build or buy things in India, called foreign direct investment, has also increased a lot in recent years. All these things together are making India's economy strong and helping it grow quickly. India is using its large number of young workers, its skills in technology and services, and new building projects to become a bigger economy in the world. These factors combined are the main reasons why India is growing at a fast speed. 4. Challenges for India. India's economy is now one of the biggest in the world, which is good news. But along with this growth come important challenges that the country must work on. These problems need fixing so that everyone in India can have a better life. One main challenge is that the average money per person is still quite low. The total size of the economy is large, but when we look at how much money each person has on average, it is only about $2,880 in a year. This amount is much lower than in richer countries. This means that even with strong growth, many people are still not rich, and there is a lot of inequality. Another problem is jobs. Many people work in jobs that are not official or formal. About 90% of people who work in India are in this situation. These jobs often do not pay well and do not offer important things like health help or money for when you are old. Getting more people into formal, stable jobs is important for the future. Also, fewer women work in India compared to many other places. Only about 26% of women are part of the working population. If more women join the workforce, it would help families and make the economy stronger. To keep improving life for everyone, India needs to grow even faster than it is now. Some experts, like Harshal Bhatt, say the country needs to grow by 8% every year for a long time. This faster growth is needed to create enough jobs and reduce poverty. India also needs to spend more money on building things like factories, roads, and railways. This investment should increase from about 24% of the economy's size to around 32%, experts suggest. More building means more jobs and helps businesses. Experts also give advice on what India should do. They say it must continue to make big changes in farming and how people work. People like A.M. Naik from L&T talk about needing deep reforms in agriculture and labor, and better education and training for young people. Creating jobs is a top goal, says economist Radhika Rao from DBS Bank. Making it easier for businesses to work and building better roads and logistics will help, according to PwC. India must focus on these things to keep growing and make sure the benefits reach all its people. 5. Japan's slowdown. Japan's economy has grown slowly for many years. This is a main reason why India could pass it in size. There are a few reasons for Japan's slow growth. One big reason is the number of old people. Japan has many older citizens and fewer young people working. Almost 1/3 of people in Japan are over 65 years old. This means there are not enough workers and fewer people are buying things. It also means the government needs to spend more money helping old people. Japan also had a time called the Lost Decades. This was after 1990 when the economy stopped growing fast. Since then, growth has been very slow. The Bank of Japan, which makes rules for money, has tried to help by keeping money very cheap, but this did not make the economy grow fast again. Also, the Japanese yen, Japan's money, has become weaker against the US dollar. Over the last 10 years, it is about 40% weaker. When you measure Japan's economy in US dollars, a weaker yen makes the number look smaller, even if the economy is the same size in yen. Some people also say that Japan has not made enough big changes or reforms in how businesses and work are done. Making these changes can be hard in a country where many people like old ways of doing things. People in Japan also feel that prices have gone up, but their pay has not gone up much. This makes people feel they have less money to spend, so they buy less. This also slows the economy. It is also true that richer countries often grow slower than countries that are still developing. India is still developing and building many new things so it can grow very fast. Japan is already a rich country, so growing quickly is much harder. So Japan's economy is slow because of old people, low growth for many years, money policies, a weak yen, and not enough big changes. This slow speed, together with India's fast growth, caused the change in their economic size. 6. A look at the past. India and Japan have followed very different paths with their economies over time. Let's look back at how they grew. Japan had a time of very fast growth after the Second World War. From the 1950s to the 1980s, Japan became very rich and strong. Its economy grew quickly. It became the second largest economy in the world after the United States. Japanese companies making cars and electronics became famous around the world. But then, around 1990, things changed. Japan's economy stopped growing so fast. It had many years of slow growth, sometimes called lost decades. India's story was different. For many years after it became a country in 1947, India's economy grew quite slowly. It was mostly about farming, and there were many rules that made it hard for businesses to grow and for foreign money to come in. But in 1991, India made big changes. The government decided to make the economy more open. They reduced the rules and made it easier for companies to trade and for foreign money to invest. This was a very important moment. After 1991, India's economy started to grow much faster. The growth was not always the same each year, but over many years the average growth was high. From 1990 to 2023, India's economy grew by about 6.7% each year on average. Japan's average growth in the same time was much slower, around 2.8%. India's economy has grown a lot in size since then. It crossed $1 trillion in the mid-2000s. It crossed $2 trillion by 2014 and $3 trillion by 2019. In the year ending early 2024, it was about $3.5 trillion. The Indian government has also helped this growth with new plans and putting money into things like roads and power. Because India grew fast and Japan grew slow, India's economy became similar in size to Japan's. But it is important to remember that India still has many challenges. The amount of money each person has, called per person GDP, is still much lower than in Japan. In fact, India's per person GDP today is similar to what Japan's was in the 1950s. This shows that while India's economy is now big, it still needs to grow much more to make life better for all its people, just like Japan did in its past. 7. What this means for India and the world. This news is very good for India. When India's economy grows strong, it shows the government's work is helping the country. This can make people feel hopeful. The big goal is to make life better for everyone in India, not just a few people. With more money in the economy, India can do more. It can build better roads and schools. It can help more people get jobs. But the growth must also bring good jobs with good pay for many people. India needs to help its young people learn new skills so they can find work in modern industries. It also needs to think about nature. As India grows fast, it is important to do this without hurting the environment. India needs clean energy and rules to protect its air and water. India's rise changes its place in the world. Being the fourth largest economy gives India a stronger voice. In important groups like the G20, where big countries talk about the world economy, India can speak more loudly. Its ideas will be heard more. There are new chances for trade too. Other countries see India as a big market where they can sell things. They also see India as a place to make things. Some companies from other countries are moving their factories or offices to India. This brings jobs and money. Big countries like the United States see India as an important friend and partner. The United States wants to work closely with India, especially on trade. Japan, which was just passed by India, also sees India as a partner. Japanese companies invest money in India and work with Indian companies. China also watches India's growth closely. India's strong economy changes the balance in Asia. Other countries in Asia and around the world now look at India in a new way. India is becoming a more important player on the world stage because of its economic strength. 8. The future path. India plans its future path. Officials say India wants to grow its economy to $5 trillion. India hopes to become the third largest economy in just a few years. To keep this strong growth going, India needs to do many things. It must create more jobs for its large young population. Helping more women join the workforce is important. India needs to improve its farms and factories. Making business rules simpler will bring more money into the country. Teaching people new skills is also key. Experts believe that with good plans and more money from businesses, India can continue to be one of the fastest growing large economies. Japan has its own future path. Its economy has been slow for a long time, partly because many people are old and fewer people are working. Japan is trying to grow again. It wants to bring in more workers from other places. It is using more robots and new technology in its companies. Japan is also trying to sell more of its products to other countries. Japan and India can work together. Japan has skills in building and can invest money. India has a big and young population and a growing market. They can trade more and build things like roads and power plants together. Japanese companies are already investing a lot in India. India becoming the fourth largest economy is a big event for Asia and the world. India's leaders will have a louder voice in important global meetings, like the G20. More countries want to trade with India. Companies around the world are now thinking about moving their factories to India from other places. In Asia, India is becoming a more important friend to countries like the United States and Japan. This changes how countries work together in the region. But India has a big challenge at home. The economic growth must help everyone. Many millions of people in India are still poor and need better jobs and houses. India must also take care of the environment as factories and cities grow. Making sure life gets better for all its people is India's biggest goal for the future. What do you think India needs to focus on most to keep growing and help all its people?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.